she goes on a journey, and along with her goes the journey of India's nuclear history. And that patriotism is unquestionable. Who would question that? That was very difficult. I think these kind of scenes are always very hard for actors to play. Matlab, there is no document to this. She hasn't written a diary or something. Ki mujhe ye feel hua, mujhe wo feel hua. We can only imagine this. I think we were just so convinced that this story needed to be told. And at the end of the day, it is a story about people, whether it was scientists or whether it was the political figures at that time, overcoming such huge difficulties. You know, this is a story about how our nation was made. You know, when we study history in school, for example, वो struggle of independence and India became independent पे खत्म हो जाती है. Hi, this is Charu Shankar. I play Mrs. Indira Gandhi in Rocket Boys 2 on Sony Live, and you are watching this on Koimoi.com.
Hi guys, Grunel here from Koimoi. We've all watched Rocket Boys, and now Rocket Boys 2 is all set to come out. And today in conversation with us is Miss Indira Gandhi of the series, Charu. Hi Charu, welcome to Koimoi.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Once more, I have to tell you, you are really looking beautiful and very bright on camera.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's just such a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Firstly, congratulations. Your series is coming out soon. And how excited are you for it?
I'm very excited. It's been such a journey putting it together, and we've worked very hard on putting it together. So it's great to see it out into the world.
Well, everyone's going to be excited to watch you as Miss Indira Gandhi soon. So before we watch you, can you tell us something of how you got into the character and the skin of Miss Indira Gandhi? Because we all know that you are acing the role.
Thank you. Mrs. Indira Gandhi is a very iconic character, I think, for all Indians. She is still one of, I think, the longest running prime minister that we've had, and very iconic. And she is the first woman prime minister that we had also. So she's just a figure to reckon with, a very strong, very powerful lady. And in Rocket Boys, you will see her sort of transition from the Nehruvian era to the era of Indira Gandhi. So we actually see her, for the first time, really see her when Pandit Nehru dies. And then she is standing as his daughter, who's a grieving daughter who's just lost her father, but also somebody who stands to lose her position because her father was the prime minister of the country, and without him, who is she? So she is at that point when you first sort of meet her in season 2. And then, of course, as she herself finds her spine and begins to find herself and finds strength in that, she goes on a journey, and along with her goes the journey of India's nuclear history. So you kind of see both these things in parallel, and it's a beautiful piece of storytelling, actually. Full credits to the writers and to the directors of Rocket Boys, because they did all the work. I mean, I had to just sort of be there and give it a voice, but it was all there. It's the storytelling is really quite incredible. आप देखिएगा.
हम लोग जरूर देखेंगे. कुछ ही दिन बाकी है, and we will be very excited to watch it. तो जो मुझे समझ में आ गया from what you just said is कि आपकी शुरुआत होती है with a heartbreaking scene to her becoming the strong, the fierce woman that we know her to be. तो वो पूरा journey कैसा था? Like कुछ अड़चने थे? Any big struggle that you actually had to sit down and like calm yourself and then do a research or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think one can only imagine what it must have been like for Mrs. Gandhi to lose her father, who was not just of course, we know that he was the prime minister of the country, but he was also her family. And, she was... that was very difficult. I think these kind of scenes are always very hard for actors to play because how can I possibly put myself in those shoes, right? How can I possibly imagine what that must have been like? So we, along with the director, and इस scene का तो कोई मतलब there is no document to this. She hasn't written a diary or something कि मुझे ये feel हुआ, मुझे वो feel हुआ. We can only imagine this. So I think
Hmm.
this scene was the most difficult to shoot. The most difficult for me as an actor. Perhaps one of the most difficult scenes that I have ever tried to do so far. And
Wow.
but the director Abhay, he and I had many conversations about recreating moments. So we didn't take it like when you see it in the series, it's actually quite a long scene. You know, it sort of goes on, and there's a very long sequence. But we were taking it moment to moment. Ki, okay, in this moment, you know, what's the core emotion, and then what else? So there's this one time where he says, "What would you feel when you first see the dead body of your parent? You know what is?" And Rajat, who plays Nehru, he was lying down on the bed with his eyes closed, and the way he was lying, his hands were exposed. You know, वो ऐसे अपने chest पे
Hmm.
रखे हुए थे. And the first thought that came to me was, I don't know why I don't want him to be cold, and I just want to cover his hands with the kambal. So he said, exactly, do it. It's an illogical thought. You know that this person has passed on, but yet you want to make sure that the final moments are comfortable, they're dignified. It was it had nothing to do with anything. It was just a random thought, and we decided to go with it. And now when I see that scene, and they've taken a close up of it, actually, of me just covering his hands, and then I समेटो the क्योंकि वो सिलवटें पड़ जाती हैं उस पे, तो उन
Hmm.
सिलवटों को साफ कर देती हूँ, because in my head I was thinking, Pandit Nehru was a very neat person. He was somebody who liked everything orderly, so सिलवटें हटा दे. And then the grief came. So it was a very interesting process for me, second by second, to discover the inner world of Mrs. Gandhi.
Did you ever have any abbreviations? Ki she's a political figure. People in India, they tend to ki इस ये ऐसा नहीं हुआ था, ये ऐसा हुआ था, to be backlashed or to get any negative feedback from the audience.
No, I don't think so. Uh, I think that people would also recognize that at the end of the day, this is it's fiction. It's based on real events, but it's a story, and we never really was no. I don't think that fear. No, I think we were just so convinced that this story needed to be told, and at the end of the day, it is a story about people, whether it was scientists or whether it was the political figures at that time, overcoming such huge difficulties. It's this is a story about how our nation was made, like actually made. Independent to ho gaye, lekin this was the time when India became
उनके
strong.
पैरों पे खड़े हो
पैरों
गए.
पे खड़े हो गए. So there's a line in the show saying that after this day, nobody will dare threaten us with war again. And so that's where it went. So there was absolutely no fear, because I think that at the end of the day, this show is about patriotism. It is about the patriotism of each and every one of these people. And that patriotism is unquestionable. Who would question that? Who would question that? They wanted what was best for their country, and they fought for it. Each and every person, even though their views may have been opposing, but they wanted in their heart what is best for their country, our country.
Exactly. They wanted what's best for the country. There are many other actresses even who have played Indira Gandhi on screen. Do you
Yes.
ever think you'll be compared to them?
Oh no, I hope not. I think that every actor has their own approach to it. Every actor makes their choices, and then there's the question of what is the story, who's the director, what's the overall thing.
What's your
So
sense?
Yeah, I think that a comparison could be in like, oh, was the likeness achieved, or because she looks a certain way, and how well they were able to achieve that. But really, every story has its own place under the sun, and so I think that even if we are, I hope that it's a celebration article of like how many of us played this extraordinary woman, and that would be nice. Yeah, let's do that.
You don't want it to be like she did it better, इसने ऐसा किया है, इसने वैसा किया, इसने ऐसा क्यों नहीं किया. You don't want it to be a comparison like that.
There are so many reasons for इसने ऐसा क्यों नहीं किया, I mean, and why get into that? It's neither interesting nor constructive. So I'm not sure if that's a debate. At least I would want to be a part of. If you want to celebrate, hey, let's do it.
Which debates would you love to be a part of?
I would love to be a part of, a debate that actually sort of looks at how these, really strong people in history, men and women, who sort of made our country. Because I think that modern Indian history is really interesting, and not enough people know. Did you know the story of Dr. Homi Bhabha and Vikram Sarabhai before the show? No,
It
I
must
didn't.
just been we must have just read a line or two of them in our science
Exactly.
book, and that's about
Exactly.
it. Nothing
And
else.
that's it. But they had these really interesting, powerful, and just they were taking chances, and they were like doing things. So sorry, just one second, my children have walked into the room. Just give me a second,
It's okay.
guys.
No problem.
Sorry, you have to be quiet if you're here. All right. Shh, shh. No, shh. Okay, enough. I'm so sorry. My son has invited a friend over, and they've just
It's
entered.
okay.
Like, my clearly not power, no power here. I
Yes,
closed the door, gave them a lecture, but no, they had to
but
come.
you are multitasking. You're handling your
I
job, you're
am.
managing the kids, you're doing interviews, and
I
you're yet
am.
glowing. Let's
I
not
am.
forget that. That's the most important thing. You're glowing, and
Thank
that's
you, thank
matters.
you. Yes, yes, I am multitasking. My son is 8, and he's quite a handful. Sorry, I've been corrected. He's almost 8. Why don't you just come and say hello? Come here and say hello. Please meet him, because he'll never leave otherwise. There you go.
Hi.
Hi, you.
He came for the shoot.
Hello.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how was your experience seeing your mama shoot as Mrs. Indira Gandhi?
Did you
Wow.
recognize me?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Indira Gandhi.
That's not true. Okay, he
Indira.
didn't. He didn't. When he came in, he was like, "Mommy." I know.
I think he recognized Mrs. Indira Gandhi. He didn't recognize mummy. He recognized Mrs. Indira Gandhi.
He did.
That's
It was a
good.
lecture. It was like a lesson in history for him as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I'm reading this very fat book.
that's very nice. Okay, thank you,
Wow.
baby.
Thank you. Lovely talking to you.
Sorry
You got a
about
good cheer. You've got a very good cheer squad with you
Thank you.
to
Yes,
come with
they
you on
are my.
sets and everything.
Yeah, yeah. My boys are. They are really a huge support system, and they keep me so grounded.
That's nice. We were talking about the discussions you would love to be part of.
Hmm. Well, definitely, I think modern Indian history has a lot of uncelebrated heroes in the field of medicine. For example, in the field of health and sciences, um, in the field of just art and culture. And these people had a very interesting and very, very, very powerful ideas that shaped our country, and I think a lot of it will be forgotten if we don't make it. So I think modern Indian history is that one period. We when we study history in school, for example, वो struggle of independence and India became independent पे खत्म हो जाती है. But
हाँ,
what happened after that? I mean, so
हम
much
लोग
has
सिर्फ
happened
26
after that.
जनवरी 1950 तक ही पढ़ते हैं. उसके बाद कुछ नहीं. Constitution
And
sign हुआ. End of story.
absolutely.
उसके बाद we've not done anything.
So actually, it's really nice now that there are so many, very interesting stories about defense heroes, about spy heroes, about intelligence and raw, and it's very fascinating. There is so much subject matter out there. So I hope that that more shows get made, and then more debates happen around that, because I think as Indians we all need to be familiar with that part of our history as well.
Charu, if I have to ask you, on your hit list, on your two wish list, which are the directors you want to wish you want to work with? Which directors would those be?
Oh my God, where do I begin? Um, well, I would love to work with. Ooh, this is delicious. Now I'm trying to think. So many people. I would love to work with Sanjay Leela Bhansali. I think the aesthetics of his films are so beautiful. I would love to work with Anurag Kashyap. I think he's just really phenomenal. I have worked with some of the directors who are on my list.
Wish
I've worked
list.
with Meera Nair. Well, I always wanted to work with Meera Nair, and I did get a chance to work with Meera, and I'm very glad for that. She is an extremely inspiring and very different filmmaker. She has such a different sensibility to a story, and she's really phenomenal. I've really had the good fortune of working with Nikhil Advani and his team, and phenomenal storytelling. So yeah, I'm really grateful, and I am totally open. I mean, please come projects into my lap. I would love it.
So, are you only open to web series, or are you open to even films and maybe TV shows or anything else?
Yes, absolutely. I think what matters to me most is story. So as long as the story is interesting and the story has a sort of driving force and the character is someone that is interesting, then I would love to. I would just go for it. I wouldn't think कि ये theater है या ये TV है या ये जो भी है. अगर character delicious है और कहानी जोरदार है तो क्यों नहीं?
मीडियम इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है, वो रोल
Medium.
इम्पोर्टेंट.
I think so.
इसके बाद रॉकेट बॉयज 2 के बाद और क्या है आपके पास? Which are the next projects?
Well, he's my biggest project, Mr. Agastya.
And I have made a project in school.
Yes, okay.
Many of
Wow.
them.
Yeah, okay. So, apart from this human project, then I have ongoing. I am looking forward to the release of a film that we shot last year with Sanjay Tripathi ji. It's a film that stars Pankaj Kapoor Saab, and we are playing three generations that live under one roof. And we're trying to show three generational conflict. And that film is now in post production, so hopefully it should be out soon. And I'm also part of the cast of Sandeep Reddy's film Animal.
Wow. So can you tell us a little about Animal then? Some spicy details if you can.
I wish, but we'll have to wait for the release of the film. Sorry.
For the release of film, a little about your character in Animal actually.
I'm sorry. I'm really not
No,
supposed
but-
to. No.
Okay, but coming back to Rocket Boys 2, how was it working with Jim Sarwa and the other co-stars? Any special moments with them that you remember?
Of course. I remember the first time I met them. So the first time I met Jim, I had, of course, known his work. I'd never met him. And we were shooting in Patodi Palace. And I had just arrived. I think I was shooting for something else. I had just sort of landed up the night before and I had not met anybody. And subah wo makeup वगैरह शुरू हो गया. So I was like fully dressed as Mrs. G. And I was stepping out of the hotel lobby and I was feeling very shy because everyone was staring at me like, oh.
She's back from dead or something that way.
Yeah, I was feeling really shy and everyone was like, oh my God, it's best. And I was just like, and I was trying to make my way to the car and एक पीछे से एक बहुत familiar आवाज आई, Mrs. Gandhi. And I turned around and it was Jim. And he's never met me before, right? He was so warm and he came up to me and he said, oh, look at you are here. And he gave me this big hug. It's like, I'm Jim. And I'm like, I know, I'm Charu. And so that was the first time we met. And then, of course, now we're good friends because we did so much together. And the first time I met Ishwak I've known from before. Ishwak and I were actually in school together. He was my junior. Yeah, so, but it was nice to meet him after so many years on this professional sort of front. And Ishfaq's very diligent, he was like sitting and just, centering himself and doing his reading and very diligent. So I really like that. And yeah, Rajit, who plays Pandit Nehru, I had a few scenes with him, and he was great because both of us had this, responsibility of carrying these very well known, very well loved
Personality.
historical figures. Yeah. So we had a lot of conversations about what to do and how to do, and we would do a scene and then we would talk about it, and then we would maybe we should do it again and we should do it like this. So there was a lot of really interesting chats with Rajat, and with the boys at Teen Murti Bhavan that you see, they were all amazing actors, and we really had a blast shooting that. And in particular, Harsh, who plays Morarji Desai, he and I, we both discovered fairly early on that we both sing. And
Oh,
yeah, so it was great to find another singer, because then time then passes. Otherwise, you're just sitting and waiting, because लगता नहीं है इतना कि इतना time लगता है film making में, but actually, and especially when you're trying to do historicals like this, some of the scenes take really long, and then the camera changes angles, so then it takes even longer. And Harsh and me, we would sing. We would just sit on the set, and if we were getting bored, we would sing to pass time.
it's
and,
nice.
and so we got along really well because of that. And then later on we were cast in a musical together, so that was also great to keep up with. So he's a good friend now, but we met on the set of Rocket Boys and we connected on this singing.
Singing. So I would say the Rocket Boys has actually given you another family of good friends on sets. Very
Absolutely,
good friends.
absolutely, without a doubt, without a doubt. I think when when you're a part of something so special, and while we were shooting Rocket Boys, वो feeling आ रही थी, दिल में कि ये कुछ हम तो कुछ तो है. There's something magical that is happening right now. And so when you're a part of something like that together, those bonds are beyond friendship.
Yeah.
You are, I wouldn't even say family. I would say like you connect on a different level. I don't know if I'm being clear, but it's
I can understand. It is somewhat like you found like a soulmate kind of a thing. People who
yes,
understand you at a level which even family doesn't.
yes. It's like people who are on a journey together, or they are evolving together, or something along those lines. I think that's how I feel about the Rocket Boys team. I really do.
Well, we are just waiting to watch you all now all on screen and see these beautiful moments that you've spoken to us about,
Thank you.
especially that heartbreaking scene, which is right at the start once more. Amy Charu, lovely talking to you.
Thank
I
you.
hope to meet you
Lovely
soon and
talking to
all the
you.
best once more for the Rocket Boys too.
Thank
Just
you.